welcome back to Exploring DC, where we take a piece of DC and explore it with you. I'm your host Josh. With me is my co-host Jalen. Jalen, how are
What's
you?
good, everybody? What's good? I'm doing real good, man. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. Luis and Jackson held down the fort the last episode we did, which was a few weeks ago, and now they're
Yeah.
gone again. We're kind of like ships passing in the sea, but that's okay. It's been 3 weeks since we recorded. We just talked about that. Um,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't feel prepped at all. It's not. We're even recording like 3 days late too.
Yeah.
But it
It's
was good because a lot
crazy.
of a lot of crazy news dropped today. So it was good that we actually
A
delayed it a bit.
lot of crazy news dropped, and we do have, I think, a bonus episode that Luis and Jackson are currently editing for when they went
Okay,
to GalaxyCon in Raleigh.
okay. I did not know where we were with that, so that's good. That we'll have
Yeah,
something
I
out.
think Luis has been editing it, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, okay. What have you been up to? Three
Man, just
weeks now.
working. We
Yeah,
started a new job a few weeks ago, and your boy finally got a car.
I saw that. I saw that. Brand new
Finally,
rental.
finally got a car.
Yeah,
It is a 2026 Sentra
yeah.
SR. It is beautiful. It has like a lit up interior.
Mm-hmm.
I have like the whole middle section of the dashboard is just like it's your navigation and your radio and all that.
Yeah.
It's just one big giant touchscreen.
Oh, I know.
It
It's
has
like
voice.
all digital now. Not the.
Yeah, it's very very technical, very digital. Of course, you have your things like lane assist and voice
Mm-hmm.
control and all that other stuff that most modern cars from I think 2020 onward have, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have massage seats. So if a person is like riding with me and
Yeah.
even me, the thing will massage my back
No
while I'm
shit.
like
They have
driving.
those now.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
heated and cooled seats
Well,
as
yeah, I would
well.
hope so.
So
Yeah, my heated seat happens to work in every seat, but like my front seat. I have a
that's
2017, and
crazy.
so I'm like
That is
I was sitting in the car when because I got it in the winter this year, and it was brutal seeing like my girlfriend right next to me getting heated up, and then I'm getting iced out over there. I'm jealous, dude. I'm jealous. I wish I had a brand new lease, maybe someday, but I'm riding off the Facebook Marketplace line for a little bit.
Hey man, that's dope, bro. As long like my I guess thing is like as long as you have a car, bro. As long as you have a
Yeah.
car and you're able to get yourself from point A to point B, you're straight.
How was Spider Man?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Genuinely, and I know that we're a DC podcast, y'all, but genuinely one of, as of right now, my favorite live action Spider-Man movie.
Mm.
And as of right now, it's either number 4 or number 5 on my MCU list.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, either 4 or 5. I don't know. I have Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU movie. Like that's
Okay,
number
good.
1.
Good pick. Yeah.
Infinity War 2, Endgame 3, and then it'll either be Black Panther at 4 or Spider-Man at 4.
I thought you were saying something at some point that Fantastic Four was like your favorite one.
At one point it was, but of course since I
Recency
am
bias.
it was a little bit of recency bias. It is still in the top 10. Like I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie, it is still in the top 10. Um and I haven't rewatched it in like a
Ah,
few
okay.
months, about
Right.
4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Um so it definitely has fallen, but I am rewatching it soon because I'm going through the
Everything.
MCU right now. So it's
Yeah.
a crazy ride, man. You realize, like, as you're, and I know you're going through it too, but you
Yeah.
realize, granted, a bunch of the issues in Phase 4 in the early part of, in like the first 75% of Phase 5 are very evident. But as you're going through, you start to realize how all over the place in quality the MCU has always kind of been. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
You mean like in the early stuff?
Yeah, like in the early stuff, and even like I'm not gonna lie, like even like rewatching some Phase 3 stuff. Obviously, I love Civil War. I love Black Panther. Love Infinity War. Love Endgame. All that other stuff. But then you look at like I also love Thor Ragnarok. I'm not really a big fan of Guardians 2. Guardians 2 is my least favorite Guardians movie of the three.
Yeah.
Um, Doctor Strange 1, I just cannot get over that hump. It's very uninteresting to me. It feels very dull. To me,
Mm.
it's interesting. Homecoming obviously has aged very poorly, you know. To some people,
Right, right, right.
Um, and then you obviously have the two stinkers, Captain Marvel and Ant Man and the Wasp. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And like for those to be two stinkers in the middle of two of your biggest franchise or saga ending films
Yeah, back to back too.
back to back, and then for them to still make over 2.5 billion dollars with your end game,
Mm.
it's amazing. It is genuinely amazing. And even now, granted, it is Spider-Man, but for this movie to make, I think right now we're at 1.7, and it's only been like 15 days.
It's some crazy stuff. Like out here in Michigan, theaters don't sell out like that, and it's been booked, man.
Yeah, the MCU didn't even have this type of motion for Deadpool. Which, granted, Deadpool Wolverine is not a great, phenomenal movie,
Right, right.
but I remember like the hype and the recency bias from everyone coming out of that movie was like, "Oh my god, this is so good! Oh my god, the cameos are actually like
Yeah.
story beats and stuff." And then obviously, like a couple years later, everyone is like, "This movie's annoying. It's not that good. It looks terrible."
I think it's maybe because most of the Spider-Man movies I was really young for, and No Way Home was a COVID situation, so I wasn't interacting with a lot of people outside of my immediate circle. But it's crazy how many people are just straight up telling me, like, I'm getting a lot of coworker talk of like, hey, you see Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hearing it a lot, like in the regular life, which I don't normally hear for any cape shit in
It
general.
has it has
It's
motion.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it. I guess I knew that Spider-Man moved like that, but I didn't realize to that extent. I just thought No Way Home was the outlier because it was like the big crossover
Yeah,
thing. But this one, I'm like, okay, I guess people, you know, just really move.
yeah.
I imagine Batman's probably gonna be pretty similar whenever the next Batman comes out.
I'm sure.
People are
I'm
gonna
sure
remember
that
that.
Batman will either make a bill or get really close, like
Yeah,
999.
because that
You
that
know
first one was also kind of like COVID-ish, and now this next one's gonna be far
exactly.
outside it. Yeah. What have I been up? I haven't been up to much, dude. I went on my 1 year anniversary trip. That was good. Got a free hotel, so we got a nice dinner out of that.
There you go.
Yeah, I've seen the Odyssey. I've seen Spider Man. Been playing more Resident Evil. I beat Resident Evil 5, which is
You are
cool.
zooming through them, bro. I haven't.
Dude, well, you say
I'm playing
zooming, but
two of them too.
I've been playing them since January. But I've been playing all the like random offshoot game. You know what I just watched yesterday was the stage. You know they did a stage play of Resident Evil, like a canon story.
I
We
didn't
watched
even
it.
do that.
We watched it on YouTube. It's set in Australia, but it was in Japan, so it's all these Japanese people. I had to watch it with English subtitles. It's very strange. There's like this small dude, and he's supposed to be Chris Redfield, like when he's bulky. I don't know.
What?
I'm in the weeds with Resident Evil, but it's very fun, and I'm enjoying it. And Wolverine's coming out soon, so ready to hop on that train with gaming, man. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun. It's
it
gonna be
is.
fun.
2026. As far as like media goes and like entertainment,
There's cool
I
shit,
can't
yeah,
lie. This year has been putting up like 2016 numbers, bro.
yeah.
Like games are hitting on different, like James Bond. James Bond is excellent. The Bond game
I didn't
is
play it.
excellent.
I'm excited.
You should play it. First Light is genuinely excellent.
Yeah,
Wolverine looks excellent. Lego Batman, I'm sure
it
you've
was
played through
great.
it
Yeah,
now.
it was great,
Was really good. Sports games are pretty good. Fortnite has been coming out with more collabs this year that have made the game actually like feel fun
dude.
again.
I know. I
You
know.
know, Rivals is kind of getting some motion back with Cyclops and Jubilee. They're both really
Cyclops is
fun to
very
play
fun.
as.
Yeah,
Cyclops is very fun to play as. I can't lie. I dropped I think 40 kills in one death in my
I
first
played
game
the
as
I
him.
played the Hood recently. He was fun too. You
Oh, they
know,
added the. Was it the Hood first and then Jubilee, or was it Jubilee
no,
then the
it
Hood?
was
Because
the
I
other way.
just
It
played
was
it
the other way.
yesterday. I can't lie.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
really?
Hood first
Okay,
and Jubilee.
dude.
Yeah.
We'll have
So
to. By the way, gaming wise, Marvel's been like kicking it out of the park. We're talking about Batman Cape Crusader. Sorry to bury the lead. Jeez, we're talking about Cape Crusader. They released the tie-in video game. Did you know this?
I'm
It was
sorry,
on.
what?
They released a tie-in game called Batman Cape Crusader Chronicles on Amazon Luna. You probably don't even know what the fuck Amazon Luna is. I didn't either. It's built into your like Fire TVs and all your Amazon shit. It's like literally just like similar to Game Pass, but it's like its own thing, like its own streaming service that you get for free with Prime. Okay, so Amazon Luna like built into your TV. So I like boot up my Fire TV. It's like in there. You just download and stream the game right from the thing. And I was like, okay, cool. What are they gonna do? It's a party game, man. Like in the sense that me and Libby joined with our phones. Our phones are our remotes, and it's just like these most simple games. Like one is like you have to do sketch artists. You have to draw what they're describing, and another is you have to literally put a jigsaw puzzle together to like find a clue. It's got the same. All the voice actors came back for the game, but it's like the stiffest like educational game style animation for for everyone. Like
So
Batman's
not that
basically a
different
PNG.
from the show.
Yeah, but even worse than the show. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there playing that, and then I'm thinking about like Rivals coming out, and my new Spider-Man skin in Fortnite, and Wolverine on the Tokon, the fighting game. I played the beta, that was really cool. And I'm like, we are scraping the barrel here. Like it was like a Batman was the outlier, man. I'm like, what happened? You know, it's it's fucking crazy. Anyway, I didn't play much of that game, but if you guys want to know, quick review, it's whatever. I discovered that my Amazon TV couldn't play games. Dude, they got real games on there though. They got like the new Indiana Jones game and shit on there, and Tomb Raider and all this stuff. You can just stream it. Like you have so many
Really?
games included with your Amazon subscription,
Oh my god.
just not
Well, I mean,
advertised.
it's good to know, I guess.
I
But like,
guess
I genuinely wonder, like, how did they? How is that? You know, earning them revenue if no one like they don't market it, they don't
they don't
promote it.
market it at all.
So I'm wondering
Even
why
this
they
game, like I
invest.
was like, why are you? They brought like Hamish Linklater and everyone back to voice the
Yeah.
game, and I'm like, what are we doing? Mm. Oh, other thing. I picked up. I showed you on text. I picked up the Green Lantern game and the Green Lantern movie. I picked the wrong Green Lantern game. Did you know that there's two different versions?
Yes,
You
I
probably
did.
did. Yeah,
I did.
I
Yeah.
I wanted to play the Ryan Reynolds like shitty tie-in game, and I got the side scroller Cartoon Network style game because it's Nintendo.
Rise of the Manhunters used to be fun back in the day.
This one was I mean, I didn't. Granted, I didn't play the actual like developed version. I played the side scroller DS port that's for the Wii.
Mm.
It's bare bones, man. Like no dialogue or no voice acting, just PNGs floating across the screen for the cutscenes. I don't know. I've not had good DC gaming experiences the past couple of days. It's been rough.
Being a DC fan has been rough, to be completely honest.
I
But let's
know.
get
I
into
know.
it. Let's
Let's
get
get into
into
it,
it.
man. First TV show of the year, Batman Cape Crusader Season 2. The Batman and his allies rally together to dismantle Rupert Thorne's criminal enterprise, but defroning a reigning crime boss comes at a high price. This show now has 2 seasons of 20 episodes, and it's on Prime Video. Showrunners are Bruce Timm and James Tucker, who are
Okay.
DCU alumni. Bruce Timm, you know, the GOAT, the Batman the Animated Series, like,
Mm-hmm.
shepherd back here. Music by Frederick Weidman, who did two DC scores that you would recognize: the Green Lantern animated series score,
Okay.
which we'll touch on, and then the Beware the Batman score, which I think was the
Really?
3D one, right?
Yes, it was because
Okay, so he did a lot of
Katana
3D work
Katana
eventually.
was basically like his Robin in that series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the cast here, Hamish Linklater is Bruce Wayne Batman. Very interesting choice. I know him from like Gen V and some Mike Flanagan stuff. Nothing
Mm.
remotely like superhero ish, and especially not Batman adjacent. It's a
Yeah,
very
and
interesting pick.
I don't know if it fully fits.
No, we'll touch on that in a minute.
Yeah.
Jason Watkins, Alfred Pennyworth, Crystal Joy Brown plays Barbara Gordon. Eric Morgan Stewart plays Commissioner Gordon. We got Gary Anthony Williams as Arnold Flass and John DiMaggio as Bullock. Michelle Bonilla as Renee Montoya. Those are all kind of your main crew. Jamie Chung plays Harley Quinn. She was out on the press tour for Comic Con, as was the new voice actor for Joker, who's Matthew Needham. But they're not in a ton of the show. And then they have like Diedrich Bader played Two Face in the first season. Minnie Driver's in this, McKenna Grace is in this, Roger Craig Smith, James Arnold Taylor, Corey Burton, Tom Kenny. Like look at all your standard staples are in this one. No voice really stands out. I mean, there's something to talk about with Batman's voice, but there's not really a performance in here. I remember not really liking Diedrich Bader as Two Face because it was too distracting for me because he's so distinctly like if he's
Yeah,
voicing something, it's Batman.
yeah. It's either Batman, but he has such like an animated, like goofy kind of sounding
Yeah.
fluctuation to his voice that it
Uh-huh.
is very distracting. Like even the only time where it didn't really distract me, he was playing a character other than Batman or I believe he's played Aquaman before, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be tripping.
Yeah.
But when he played Joker, and I think Under the Red Hood, I think that was where he played.
Does he play Joker? That's cool.
I believe he voices Joker in Under the Red Hood,
Oh,
and
okay.
it is. I don't even think we watched that movie for the pod, but that movie is genuinely one of the best DC
Oh, it's
movies ever.
fantastic. It's fantastic. And then
But I will say a voice that did
yeah.
stand out to me is the Joker. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We'll have to get into that too, man. There's a lot to actually talk about. Real quick though, season one announced May 2021. So this was like, I believe this was DC Fandom. This was announced. This show. Oh my god, this got announced the same day as My Adventures of Superman, and for a time it just felt like they were both going absolutely nowhere, and I
Yeah.
was getting worried. And then My Adventures went somewhere, and I was like, where the fuck is this show? It got announced for Cartoon Network and HBO Max. I can't imagine this being on Cartoon Network now. It's pretty violent,
Yeah, it's very violent, like
I,
surprisingly so.
you know. So then in 2023, I think the bidding war ended because that was around when Zaslav took over, end of 22, and he was like, I'm ditching all this animated stuff," and he ditched Cape Crusader among other things. And Prime Video snagged up Bat Fam and Cape Crusader, and they also announced the second season. They did a 2-season pickup right away. So I think this was part of the original order that they did. And they released the first season, I think, summer of 2024, and then this season, 2026. I don't think I like the 2 year gap was not appreciated because with the level of animation here, I was like, I really think it would have benefited them to have this back to back.
The animation was ugly, bro. Like it was
Right?
it was it was not good. I mean, like during some of the fight scenes it was a little bit
Yeah.
engaging, but like it was ugly. Like I'll never like there was a shot. And I remember because this was the point where because I was kind of into it in episode one, and then
Yeah.
from this moment in episode two onwards in the Roxy Rocket episode, is Bruce Wayne sitting talking to Lucius Fox, and you look at him, and I don't know if you or some of our listeners out there remember Cool Math, Cool Math games
Yeah.
from like years ago.
Yeah.
And there was this game on Cool Math that was based off of I think a TV show called the Micronauts or whatever about two
Uh-huh.
brothers, one wore green, one wore blue, and they dove into the ocean and you did
Okay.
math,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But the animation of Bruce Wayne sitting in that chair
Looked
talking
like cool
looked
math games.
exactly like that because like legitimately he was sitting there holding his cup like this. His arm was bent at a perfect 90-degree angle,
Yeah.
and his mouth was moving, but his eyes and eyebrows had no artistic expression whatsoever. And I was like, bro, what happened? I truly do think that this speaks to a more grand issue that's
With the
going
show.
on with
Yeah.
whatever is going on with Warner Brothers and DC. Whatever that disconnect has been for years is starting to get, I guess, more frustrating. And not to veer, but it definitely shows itself a lot with the animation and with the direct or the voice direction in this series.
So let me pivot real quick. So we're probably going to talk about season two more. I did not get a chance to rewatch season one, and I was hoping to have Luis on, who had not seen season one, but he's not on. Did you watch that originally when it came out? Because I know you're huge. We just talked about the second, third season, whatever, Batman the Animated Series, and this is Bruce Timm's like second baby. Like this was developed because they wanted him to revive Batman the Animated Series, and he said no. If I'm going to revive anything DCAU, I'm going to do Justice League. But then he realized that he had a bunch of cool concepts that he wanted to do that were darker and more film noir, and so that kind of became this show, which is like unused conceptual things that he couldn't really do in that show. But did you watch season one when it came out? Like, what were you feeling back then? And then, how's that carry into now, 2 years later?
I actually feel like this. Well, I did watch it back when it released, but I watched it like a year later because I didn't know
Okay.
that it existed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
I didn't know that it existed because, mind you, the marketing has been trash for a very long time. But I
Yeah.
didn't know the show existed. Um, truth be told, it was the same with My Adventures, where I didn't realize My Adventures had more than one season.
Yeah.
Uh, until we watched it for the pod. So I watched the first season of Kip Crusader last summer, and I remember thinking the animation was still kind of but I feel like this one was kind of worse. Then again, I also haven't rewatched the show since, so it's been a whole year, and I'm not truly coming into this season fully fresh off of season one. Um, but something about this entire show, it just doesn't hit. Like, it doesn't work. I think the concept is cool on paper,
Yeah.
and I think that at that point, some of the things that he wanted to do should have just gone to more DCAU stuff because people have been clamoring for the DCAU back for years. Now I don't want the DCAU back. I kind of want it to stay where it's at because I know if it comes back, it's gonna get all messed up.
So
But
was the
yeah,
second season like even on your radar? Because I know I put it on the schedule, but were you? Because this is Bruce Timm, man. This is like your guy.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. And like the perception of Bruce Timm has kind of gone down over the few years with what he did in Killing Joke and that choice he made with Batman and Batgirl. But also his weird obsession with Batgirl, but that's a whole other
And the Harley
story.
Quinn stuff.
Yeah, and all the Harley Quinn stuff. It's just weird. It's very yeah weird.
Yeah.
But this wasn't on my radar at all. It feels like they've kind of been burying this stuff, or it almost feels like this My Adventure season three, and Harley Quinn season 5 or 4, whatever the most recent one they just ended on was. It feels like that's all stuff that was on a shelf that was almost ready to go and that was too deep into development to can. And if they wrote them off as tax write-offs or whatever, that would be more
They get a bad
backlash,
look.
which you don't need at this
Mm,
point in the
yeah.
in the DCU and in DC trying to rebuild their brand. So it felt almost like, okay, we have this contractual obligation to these actors, these creators to release these 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Where do we go with animation after this? Which is how, My Adventures with Green Lantern, Super DC Superpowers, all that other stuff came in. But
Well,
it
you
felt
got to
like,
think though too that this
you
is
know,
not Warner directly releasing this. This is Prime. Like, this is
yeah,
Amazon that bought this out. So it's not even like Warner has a huge say in when this is coming out in relation to their DCs. Like James Gunn, I don't think is involved with this pretty much at all because it's over here with Batfam and this whole other.
mm,
So basically, what happened though is Prime Video did a big bidding war with Apple and Netflix, who are also interested in Batman shows. They bought this and Batfam, and I feel like they were really ambitious with it and really excited with these new
for sure.
concepts, and now I it would they drop Batfam all at once. They drop both these seasons all at once. Yeah, not a lot of fanfare. It makes me feel like and this is just part of their initial 2 season investment, and it doesn't feel like they're actively like wanted to make a second season of
Yeah.
this. Like they didn't feel like there was. It's so strange because you're right. You know what? Here's the thing. It's been 10 years since a Batman show is on. 10 years since an animated Batman show is on air. Last one was
Hmm.
Beware the Batman in 2014 to
And that was
this in
only one season.
2024. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's and even before that, like that show barely got watched. Brave and the Bold was its own thing. Like when you're talking about like Batman Beyond and animated series were like the last true. Well, maybe the Batman 2004 was like your last true Batman animated series hit, and that was 20 years ago. So this should have been a big thing. On top of that, you got Matt Reeves executive producing. You have J.J. Abrams executive producing, and Bruce Timm. Like I remember when those three names got announced and that key art of Batman over the city, and I was like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
gonna be a fucking like knock out of the park. And then it comes out, and you're right. There's something about it that's just so stiff, and I don't understand what is not fully clicking. clicking here. Let me start. Let me start with Batman. I really want to start with the Batman voice, dude. I defended it the first season. Mish, I was like, this is, I kind of like it in
Yeah.
certain points.
Yeah.
I'm not gelling with it anymore, and it's not the worst thing. It's not the worst Batman voice ever. I think it's more that he doesn't have a good differentiation between Bruce and Batman,
No, he doesn't.
which is a thing. And then it just doesn't. This speaks more to the Batman character, and I think Bruce Timm has talked about him being kind of more of like a lifeless, cold character in the show. That's the intention, but he doesn't feel like an active part of the story, and I think that translates to his performance here. It's just Batman's there as like the quota character, like, oh, we need Batman in this show, but it doesn't seem like they're interested in telling Batman specific stories at all.
That was what I was gonna mention, is that I feel like Batman is the only character who got no arc. It
There's
legitimately
I don't
was.
remember any episodes this season where he went through anything that
Exactly.
really changed
It's
him.
it's like something happens, a mystery happens, he needs to solve it. He calls on his supporting cast, who all have much more interesting stories than he does, especially with what's going on with the GCPD and the mob this season, with Rupert Thorne and Joker, and how all of that is, and Riddler, and how all that is involved. But you look at that, and then you kind of just see Batman, and you see him appear in and out every episode, and have a cool fight scene, have a cool gadget moment, save the day, whatever. It feels very by the numbers. It feels like a surface level understanding of Batman. I think a lot of
Yeah,
people, when they are first entering into writing Batman, they see him as this cold, hardened character.
right.
Um, but what a lot of people don't, or aren't able to touch on, is the heart of the Batman, and the compassion that Batman shows. Also, the deep internal struggle that Batman has had, and I know that, like, Reeves, that's, he's in his first year or two being Batman, so he's gonna develop and he's gonna grow that. I see the vision with Reeves, and I know what those movies are trying to go for. They're trying to go pure noir, Zodiac detective. This guy is damaged. This
Yeah,
guy is very damaged. You know what I mean? That's the angle that they're going in, and works for that. With the DCAU, as we've seen with 2 seasons of the animated series so far, and Mask of the Phantasm,
yeah.
when he's questioning giving it all up for love, and all that other stuff. Like, you
Yeah, you
see his
feel
heart,
that.
you see his compassion. Even like the argument that he has with Dick, and I forget if it's season 1 or season 2, where he throws the mask down the abyss, and he's like, when you look at the abyss, it stares right back at you, and if you don't blink, it consumes you. And he's like, I can't let another person get hurt. And when I let a person get hurt, when I let one person get hurt, that means I'm failing as the Batman. And that's what that show understood. This show, it's like it's trying to be too noir, and it feels almost like they don't understand the true core of what Batman is, and they don't want to play with what that core could be set in the 40s. And I
Yeah,
wouldn't expect that from Bruce Timm, from J.J. Abrams, and from Matt Reeves, and from whoever else is involved in the show. But then I remember they're only executive producers. They
right.
only have so much say, if at all, because sometimes
They put their
people
name
can
on it,
have
and then they
executive
don't
producers, and they
actually.
don't do anything. They don't do a
Yeah,
single thing. It's purely in name only to get more revenue and more buzz. I highly doubt that Matt Reeves had too much of a part on this. I highly doubt that J.J. Abrams had too much of a part on this. It was mainly Bruce Timm, I'm sure.
no, you're right, man. They seem very interested in just exploring that it's a noir show, and they're like, wouldn't it be cool if Riddler was a gangster? And I get it. I like shit like Gotham by Gaslight is cool, and Batman Ninja is cool, but those are more contained, and they feel like these little Elseworlds things. This, like, you're exploring an Elseworlds type thing essentially over the course of 2 seasons, and you're not digging into these characters in a way that's substantive, and it's frustrating because there's little glimpses of it. Like, they try to give things, like they give Montoya some stuff with Harley Quinn here and there, but it's so sporadically sprinkled that it's frustrating because, like, coming off of the last thing we recorded for this podcast was the adventures of Batman and Robin, and there's just so much depth to all those villains in that season. and seeing how they grow. And they bring a couple back here, and it's just like
It's
I don't
not
know,
it.
man. It's not it. I'll tell you what I like though. I'll tell you what I like. Last season, I struggled a little more with it because it was a lot more anthology and just we introduced a bunch of villains. We did
Right.
Penguin, we did Harley Quinn, we did Catwoman. This one has a way more through line story with this Rupert Thorne situation. It kind of carries
Hmm.
the whole season and it ties into like everything that's going on. And it's cool because Joker's also in the background, like slowly eliminating and setting the stage for his plan, which by the way, we'll talk about Joker in a little bit. I think the way that they structured this season was a lot stronger because if you're going to do a really short 10 episode binge season, I'm glad that you chose to have like there's still individual episodes. There's a Gray Ghost episode of Carrie Kelly that I thought was pretty solid. The Red Rocket episode I thought was I don't really give a shit about, you know.
Which also,
Um
Roxy Rocket is a DCAU character.
okay,
Um, she will be introduced in New Batman Adventures. So
I
basically,
see.
season 3 of the
Yeah, I
animated
didn't
season
didn't
gets
care about
whatever.
her episode. That was probably my least favorite episode
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
whole
mine too.
bunch. But I did like that more this season. Like when we got to those, you didn't um, get to those final Joker episodes, right? But the final Joker episodes, I really felt like there was enough there to really carry into the finale, which I appreciated more because last season, like you had the stuff with Two Face, and it kind of just felt like it ended. I didn't even remember Two Face died last season. That's how
Me
fucking
neither.
I'm like I don't.
Genuinely, me neither.
I
Um,
didn't. That whole season kind of petered out, and I had issues with that. This season, I felt, with my issues still intact with this show, I felt like it was at least a stronger, structured return for this show.
yeah,
I don't know
I
if you
would, I
felt
would,
that.
I would definitely agree with that. Like, I feel like last season felt more like Villain of the Week,
Yeah, yeah, but
and there
too
was
short for villain of the week. Like it's ten
too short for Villain
episodes.
of the Week, as well as like there was like 3 or 4 filler episodes where they
Yeah,
presented a random villain and it didn't really have anything to do with whatever the overarching narrative is, which I actually don't remember what the overarching narrative of season 1 is, if there is even one. I think there
I
is
think it
one, isn't
was.
there?
I think it was just about Harvey becoming Two Face.
And even
Off the top of my
that's
head, I'm trying to
not
remember.
really saying too
That Two
much, you
Face
know what I mean?
design's bad, man.
Yeah, but this season I love how the mysterious of like what happened to Rupert Thorne and his son from the first episode. I love how that carries itself throughout the season. That's the thing. Like structurally, this season works on paper. Like I do love that mystery, and I love how it actually does feel like a corrupt Gotham, and it
Yeah,
does make you question the people beside, like Flash, and you know, it definitely makes you question so many members of the GCPD. But even like that moment where Joker in his human makeup is like trying to get Rupert into the car or helping Rupert into the car as his chauffeur, and he like minorly pricks him, and obviously we know that's Joker, but for I can imagine for a person who doesn't know that Joker was a part didn't know that Joker was a part of the season, or
yeah,
doesn't really know anything about the show or doesn't keep up with leaks or news or whatever. They're just going into this because they see this new Batman show and they see like Rupert Thorne talking about how he owns the city and
yeah,
how everyone who's crossed him, like the squealer, is gonna die and all that other stuff, and then he slowly starts laughing hysterically and painfully to the point where tears well up in his eyes, and then you see the reveal that this is the Joker, but only through the eye. Like I love little moments like that. If they only did that throughout two
the whole
through
show.
two through whatever 2 through 10, you
Yeah,
know,
man. No, Joker was my favorite part. I
I
was
agree.
very curious what they were gonna do
I
with
agree.
him. They, I was because it's not your traditional Joker. They're doing a very serious Joker, a calculated, cold Joker. It
Yeah.
reminds me a ton of Jeremiah from Cameron Monaghan from Gotham
Okay.
when he did his second twin Joker role, and he was like the cold where he did the Jerome like crazy one first, and then he did the
Yeah.
yeah, this is what that felt like. It felt like a return to that. Man, there's a part like in one of the first Joker episodes of those two part where Batman's in his way and Joker just straight up shotguns him down through the door. Like this Joker is not fucking around. Like he will kill Batman.
Ruthless. He
And he
is
tries to kill
ruthless.
Batman all the time. Like no hesitation. And I think that really boils well into like it does feel pretty overwhelming where Batman gets to at the end, where the ninth episode ends with Alfred getting injected with that gas. We've seen everyone else die immediately from that. So I felt the stakes, and they've been killing characters off. I was genuinely shocked to see you did. I don't know what episode you got to, but you know most of the spoilers, right?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay. They killed Riddler. They killed Riddler off in the Poison
Mm-hmm.
Ivy episode, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's a bold move, man. Was
Yeah.
this Riddler very good? Probably not really, but it's Riddler in like
Did he
May
even really
Homecoming.
do any riddles? Or like,
No,
did
I
he
think
have
he had.
any?
I think his name was Riddler for some other mob boss, but he's basically Scarface in this.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what I was thinking. Is like he's such a deranged Scarface. I like in his intro episode, I didn't hear him do a single riddle,
No,
and
no.
I was like, oh, so this dude is basically Riddler and fit only.
Yeah, it's pretty low. Like if I had to rank Riddlers, he's pretty low on the list. But when they killed him, I still was like, okay, so we're killing off. And then I remember that they killed Two Face off. So I thought Alfred was cooked, man. I thought we were actually getting into things. Didn't end up
Yeah,
happening. But my point is, Joker, I thought was really well done. I like you brought up earlier. I thought Matthew Needham actually brought a lot of gravitas to that role. And if they do another season of this, which I doubt, but if they do, I would like to see him come back. It'd be really cool.
yeah. Truth be told, I think this sector of TV shows is probably like Harley Quinn is obviously already done. Teen Titans Go is going to keep going for as long as
Yeah.
they can milk that out of the younger audience. My Adventures and Batman, I think, are unfortunately finished.
Well, this is a Prime thing, and I still think Prime's probably gonna be out of the game. I don't think
Yeah.
they have a huge
Well,
interest in
I
it.
know Batman is definitely done after this, like for
Yeah,
sure. My Adventures, since that's Max and that's DC, and they got My Adventures of Green Lantern. Who
that's the whole
knows?
thing.
But which I know we'll talk about in the news section, so I'll just save it for then. But when it comes to Joker in this one, something about Serious Joker was just so terrifying.
That was cool, man.
You know what I mean? It was so cool. And God, man, he did have so much like pathos to him. You know what I mean? And it
Mm.
was so in the moment in the first episode when he's like looking up in the rearview mirror, he almost gave me, or this version of Joker almost gave me like Heath Ledger vibes when like in the second act of The Dark Knight when they're having that parade or that funeral in the city for the cop, and
Yeah,
Joker is disguised as one of the officers, and he is serious just for a moment, and you kind of see hints of this character's origin or this character's obsession or training,
yeah,
you know, in that universe and in that movie. With this, you feel every ounce of darkness and pure evil and hatred that this version of the Joker has. And the way that he voices him so desolate of any sort of compassion, of
it's
any
felt.
sort of
Yeah,
emotion, but it works. Like this is the cold, calculated voice direction that works, not
not with
Batman's.
Batman.
Yeah,
Exactly, dude. It's definitely the strongest idea that they had for this, probably this whole show so far. And then maybe that speaks to just Joker being so overexposed in media that I welcome anything new. That's why I'm excited for that Joker show where he's like a vigilante or whatever, avenging Batman.
trying
'Cause
to
it's just
avenge
something new.
Batman. trying
Something
to.
new. Like I'm so sick of typical Joker. It's been ridiculous. And I'm not saying do more of those Joker movies, but I'm saying do more cool shit like this, man.
For sure.
This is I will say, pain point. I don't think the supporting cast here of Gordon, Barbara Gordon, Montoya. I think they're all incredibly boring,
Okay.
and I don't think any of them. Montoya gets a little bit with Harley Quinn. I think is interesting. I don't think Barbara has anything interesting. Gordon barely does anything in this show, and they're
Right.
in most of these episodes. They're not interesting. They're just so standard.
They
They're
do
not really
feel.
going through anything interesting. They're not making huge Like again, the only thing I can remember is Montoya, harboring Harley Quinn and that being like a thing, but she doesn't even face consequences for that necessarily. They feel
Yeah.
just so static. And you know what, too? I noticed a lot with this show that there's a lot of like gender bending and race swapping and stuff, and that's really cool. You know, like it opened with the penguin. That was a big controversy. I remember. I think it's the lowest rated episode still. And there's there's a gender swap Mad Hatter, and there's a lot of racial diversity, which is cool to see in a show that's inspired by the 40s. It just doesn't feel like they actually utilize it at all.
Yeah, it definitely, because like when you do think on it from a story level, do we really think that a black Commissioner Gordon would have this high of a position in the police
Right.
department in the 40s?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
But they're kind of going
Unfortunately.
for a colors blind approach, which I guess is cool.
Yeah.
I think they they changed so many characters in a way that I was like, okay, maybe they were going to make some commentary on this, and they really
Yeah.
don't. But
It
the
feels
yeah
it feels almost like a worse version of, have you seen Spider Noir?
yeah.
It feels like a way worse executed version of that
Yes, yeah.
of
Because that
that.
show plays into the noir stuff, but actually has a really strong through line.
Yeah, and also has like racial themes in it as well with Robbie's character and
It
how he's
does.
treated.
It
You know
does.
what I mean? And it doesn't just ignore the fact that, yeah, this is like the multiverse or whatever. This is
Right.
another iteration of Spider-Man that's just going to continually be in the 40s or the
Yeah.
whenever that noir period, the 30s, I believe. And we're just going to ignore the fact that black people have the same level of, you know, same level of social status as a white person in those times. So we're
Well,
just going to take the aesthetic but not the true realism of the
even like
situation.
Montoya and Harley, you could have easily played up the fact that they have a forbidden romance in the sense that Harley is a fugitive, but also have a forbidden romance in the sense that it's a same sex relationship in this time
Yeah.
period. And they could have
Yeah.
really played off that. But instead, it's just like there's no hesitation. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think those three characters are well developed in this show. And I got to the end of the season and Batman's standing on the rooftop of all of them. They're like, we'll face whatever's next in this city. And I'm like, I don't really care about you guys. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. You know, when Jeffrey Wright comes on screen, I cared about that Gordon. He felt like he had something to say, and most Gordons do in most shows, even like the animated series. This one, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
you know.
God.
Does this
Gary
Barbara feel like it's
Oldman.
gonna be Batgirl at any
No,
point?
no,
No,
absolutely
you know what
not.
I mean.
Absolutely not.
That's my issue, dude. I feel like it's very weak on a lot of our heroes, but Batman and then his supporting cast. They feel so stale that I get glimpses of cool villains, and even then it's like hit and miss. And that's my issue. I just want more
Yeah.
from our actual main characters. What do you have anything else you really want to touch on?
Nothing else, man. It kind of just came and went and it's kind of there. Like there are some like really cool theme, like not
Yeah,
themes, but there are some really cool like structural moments in this series and in this season.
yeah,
But and obviously the Joker is probably the highlight of the entire series at this point. But when it comes down on when it comes to a, you know, the story on a deeper level, when it comes to voice cast, voice direction, um, animation, all that other stuff, it falls very flat, you
yeah.
know,
Feels
and
phoned in a little bit.
characterizations too, and it just kind of feels there. It feels like, yep,
Yeah,
just another Batman show, another Batman piece of media to add to the 50,000 other pieces of Batman media. There's nothing different about this take other than the setting and the aesthetic, which does
yeah.
nothing for you in the long run of anything. So
That's kind of how where I am. I would probably give this season a positive review. I think it's an improvement on the first season, but it's still just not. I watched 7 of the 10 episodes in one day, and I just felt like it was a checklist item of like, and it's a
yeah,
Batman show, dude. I don't know. You know, I was
right.
watching all those Spider-Man shows before Brand New Day, just checking all the cartoons, and it's just a wave of difference, and especially watching the old Batman animated series. Like, how's that animation killing it? And then I look at this, and I'm like, oh my god, we're stiff as a board. I will say, I do like Frederick Weidman's score and the intro and all that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid one.
Another thing too, bring back like 15 plus episode series seasons.
Yes, especially for if you're gonna drop it like this, just put
Yeah,
out a full meal.
bring it back. And because like this whole 10 episode, 8 episode, it doesn't work. And like even
No.
X Men 97 ended today,
Oh yeah.
and this season it is nowhere near as good as season one. And I mean, I hate to say it, I'm not gonna mention who the writer is. You guys can go look him up. I'm sure most of you know already what he's accused of. So I'm not saying to bring him back at all. I'm not saying that at all. But you could definitely tell the quality of writing has dropped from season one to season two. And after episode four, because this season was an episode shorter, it was 9 episodes instead of 10.
Okay.
So you look at all of that from episode four onwards, everything has just felt rushed. It feels like they've tried to pack five big X-Men storylines into 5 episodes while still having a through line of Apocalypse, and it just doesn't it just doesn't work. Bring if you're gonna do 30-minute episodes and you have a bunch of characters that you're gonna play, especially in the superhero medium. I
These
can
aren't
see
even
doing
30 minutes.
six
These are like
episodes.
22, 25. Too.
Yeah, but I say like I can see doing this 6 episode, 9 episode format for a mystery series that has nothing to do with superheroes because you dictate how many characters you play with.
Yeah.
Boss, you dictate how many
Right.
characters you have in your sandbox. You dictate how many characters are involved in the story. It could be four, it could be five. You're not dealing with whole teams, whole worlds that you have to build out that is connected to other stuff. So like make it 15, because like even like when we were watching the animated series, it's
Which, by the
crazy
way,
how
put out 65 episodes in the span of a year,
exactly it's
and they're
crazy
fucking
how
mostly bangers.
that stuff was able to be paced so well, and it wasn't even 25 minutes, bro. It was 20, 22 with credits, and the pacing was immaculate in every single one of those episodes. It felt like you got through a whole 3 act structure in
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Oh, animation has been done the biggest disservice by the streaming era gaps of like, we're gonna give you 8 episodes, and you wait 2 years, and then you're gonna get another 8 episodes, and it's like, I don't know, man. There was Arrowverse flaws and all. There was a real benefit to having 22 episode seasons yearly, where you got to spend time with everyone,
Yeah.
and then things grew. This show, I was like, I barely spent time with this Batman. Why do I care, man?
So let me ask you this. Let's just say they did go back to the 20 to 22 episode model. Do you think
Yeah,
that we are in a position now as a society to watch a whole 22 episode season week to week? Or does it
I
need
no,
to be
I
just
mean,
all
I
at
think they
once
need to
now?
be doing batches or something. I don't know. It really depends. Everyone's different now.
Yeah.
It's a whole different landscape. But I'll tell you what. I mean, if these two seasons were combined, I'd probably feel stronger about it than if it were them being two separate seasons.
I would agree.
You
I would
know?
agree. Like if we were leading to the whole Rupert Thorne
Yeah,
Joker thing the entire show, that would be like
because that's what this feels like. Just feels like two seasons they kind of cut up. But
yeah.
is what it is. Yeah, I'd probably be like a small thumbs up. Kind of.
It's here. Well, it's here with like kind of leaning more towards there. I would say.
I like the rain, man. It's cool. Nice rain.
Appreciate it.
We getting there, man. Um, I don't know. I don't think I might have much else to say. I'd take this over season one if anyone wanted to know. You know. But yeah, DC so far we got Supergirl on this show. It's looking like a a year. We'll see. We got Lanterns next week, man. Yeah. Let's get into a couple news things, and then we'll wrap up if that's cool. The first thing I wanted to talk about is Supergirl. The box office is been concluded by all the analysts here. It's still playing a little bit, but it's basically done. We're looking at right now. Budget was 170 to 180 million dollars. Made 72 million domestic and 126 million worldwide.
Oh my god, man!
126 million, which in context, Brand New Day made what 700 million in its first weekend or 800 million in its first weekend.
Brand New
Like
Day
that.
made 900 and I think 20 million
900
in
okay.
3 days. In its first day, it made like 556.
So basically, like 8 times lapped this
in one day. In one day,
In one
Josh. In
day,
one
in
day.
one. Yeah, look, man. Um, this is the lowest comic book movie gross for DC in 15 years.
Oh my
Do you know what the
god.
last one was? We would have covered this movie.
Was it Miss Halle Berry?
No, that actually came out now like 22. Well,
Was
yeah, like
that
22 years.
2004? That wasn't like
2004.
2011 or something like
So
that.
15 years ago, believe it or not, it's 2010 or 2009 or something like that.
I'm
2009,
tripping, bro.
2010.
I thought that movie came out in like 2011. I
Okay,
did
so
not think it came
what
out in
movie came out
2004.
around 2009, 2010? Think of the movie we covered. It's got like no fans.
Jonah Hex?
Yes, that was the previous lowest grossing DC movie at like fucking 11 million. It was brutal, something bad. But that was marketed as a DC movie. Yeah, going back, if you want to go back to things marketed as DC movies, it goes all the way back to Catwoman for lowest grosses.
Oh my
You know,
god, bro.
that is to say, with the caveat that Blue Beetle was not that much higher than this movie. Blue Beetle was like 130 million, but I
Wait,
feel like those are
what was
different
the
contexts.
yeah, what was
You
the
know,
budget on Blue Beetle? Wasn't Blue Beetle a cheaper
it was a
budget than
little,
this?
it was a little lower, but it was still like 100. Like that movie still lost a shit ton of money, but I think Blue Beetle had a lot less pressure on it than Supergirl. You know,
Yeah,
following up
golly,
Superman.
bro.
Yeah,
I
net loss
yeah.
here of 240 million, by the way, because they had one of the most expensive tie-in promotional campaigns and marketing campaigns in a
What
long
did they
time.
do? What
Dude,
like
they
what?
did everything. They did the KFC collab. Which I tried like all these collabs. They did a collab with like KFC. They did a collab with Ulta.
They
They
need
did
a
a
new
collab with
marketing
Cold
team,
Stone.
bro. They need a new
You know,
marketing team.
dude.
It doesn't
You know what's
work.
fucking crazy? It's been like what 1 month. I got the Supergirl McFarlane figure a couple weeks ago for like $11. I got the logo figure a week ago for $9, which sell for like $30. Man, this movie came out like a month ago, and we're already clearancing out all the merch and shit, man.
Oh my god, this movie came out less than 2 months ago, bro.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on it. I wanted to say I'm not ignoring it. It's a big L. It was such a big L that DC even talked about it a little bit. Peter Safran and all them. They, rarely studios were like, this movie didn't meet our box office expectations, but they brought it up. They said they're still confident because they got Man of Tomorrow and Batman, and I believe them, box office wise, But
I I
this is
re-
not a good look for them
I
at all.
refuse to believe that James Gunn, Peter Safran, Tom King, and their board of like 7 or 8 people
Yeah,
sat down in a theater, watched this with Craig Gillespie and Anna Noguera, and thought, "This is a winner.
I
This
don't
is a
think that's
winner."
well. I think it just kind of. I think they filmed enough of it at a certain point, and they were like, "Oh, this kind of sucks, but we got to make do with what we got." I
And even
think
then, bro,
and the problem was Jimmy talked big game. He talked big game about this one,
Jimmy,
and he ate shit on it.
I hope I like James Gunn as a creative for his own movies. I
Right.
like him as a creative for his own movies. I hope to God he steps down. I hope he steps because think about it. Think about it. Since he's started, he's written the entirety of Creature Commandos. He's written the entirety of Peacemaker. He's written the entirety of Superman, the entirety of Man of Tomorrow, and he's writing and directing another DC project after Man of Tomorrow. Apparently, that will probably never happen. But as of right now, it's reported that he's signed on to write and direct another DC project. You cannot be both. And I know we have said that so many times throughout this podcast, but you cannot be both. Making a movie takes a lot of time. And the thing is, all of us here are like filmmakers in some capacity. It takes a long time to make a movie, and it kind of takes up all of your time. There is no way that you are trying to make Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker as good of the quality as you can make those shows while
Yeah.
still running a studio, making sure that the Lantern script passes, making sure
Every
that all this stuff passes. There's
yeah.
no way. There's no way.
I think more and more every time after I've saw the comment that said basically James Gunn got signed to a fancy production deal. Like the standard, like we're gonna give you a bunch of money to make this show, like a first
Yeah.
look deal. and I feel like he got that. So then he made his projects, but they marketed and positioned it as like a cinematic universe when it should not have been positioned that at all. It should have just been positioned as James Gunn as a first look deal with DC. He's developing Creature Commandos, Superman, and Peacemaker, and all this stuff. And maybe you'll see his stuff and other things, but they market it as like the DCU, MCU with a D, and you can't have that pressure on something like they just this isn't designed like that.
No, it's not. It
And
genuinely
I
isn't,
I
and it
think if it was
feels
just looked at as like a first look deal, like this is
yeah,
just James Gunn developing things, people would be way less harsh. But they positioned him as a Kevin Feige, and then he
exactly.
talked game like he was a Kevin Feige or like a Kathleen Kennedy, or
Yeah,
whatever studio had insert, and it's just like it's just not what this has become.
yeah, as well as the fact that his board of people who he is entrusting are, yes, they are comic book writers, but that is exactly what they are, comic book writers. The medium of a comic book and the structure and writing of a comic book is so drastically different from the structure and writing of dialogue, of scenes, of everything in a movie. You have to
Yeah,
rework so much stuff. There is no reason why Tom King, of all people, should be in your ear saying, "Don't make a Wonder Woman animated series," and you listen. If you say that you are tapped into, if we were running DC as a collective, all four of us here at Exploring DC, if we were running DC, there is no way that we aren't tapped into the fan community and seeing what they want. If everyone is clamoring for a Wonder Woman animated series that we could have gotten with the DCAU, but it got canceled. We were supposed to Wonder Woman was supposed to be the next one after Justice League Unlimited, but it got canceled. Um and there is no reason why I'm sitting here and I'm not like, all right, it would be a smart move to greenlight DC Superpowers, which I know no one but little kids is gonna watch,
yeah.
to highlight. I don't even know what else is coming out as far as animated. Starfire. There's no reason to greenlight a
Well, that's all
Starfire
like
animated series
that's all like
over a Wonder Woman
separate
animated series.
separate shit
It's
though,
separate, but it's still like thinking in the mass, like in the grand scheme of all of your animated projects that you're
Yeah.
releasing in your slots. You know what I mean? Like there are 5 series releasing over the next 2 years, at least. I would say.
Okay. I'm gonna refute that a little bit because I think you're looking at it as like more of a collective thing. I think
Fair.
variety is good. I think variety is very good. That's DC's strong point. It's always been their strong point. Like, bro, a few years ago we had the Arrowverse on. We had Titans and Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn. And Young Justice was back, and you had the animated stuff. And at the same time, you had Suicide Squad in the theaters, and Zack Snyder's Justice League was coming out, and all this shit. And a lot of it's very mixed. You get great stuff, you get bad stuff. You get the Batman, you get Black Adam in the same year. But I thought it was always interesting that they were swinging for the fences, and I like that from DC. The
Right.
problem is, before the DCEU, there was 2 points where it was positioned as like a cinematic universe. Right, first was 2014 to 2017. We saw how that went. They went for all the big projects, and it just didn't click because of the Zack Snyder of it all, or whatever. So then they got scared of that, and they did random miscellaneous bullshit from like what 2018 to 2023 ish,
Mm-hmm.
around then. 2023 they come out and they're like, we're doing it again. This time we have an actual plan, and they do the same bullshit. They did the same bullshit they did in 2014. They released a whole slate, and they're like, this is all gonna happen. And then instead of Zack Snyder's vision kind of clouding it all, now it was James Gunn's vision, and now you see it all kind of fall apart. I don't mind that Starfire and all this shit is getting made
Right.
more than a fucking Batman movie or Wonder Woman movie, but when you're the problem is you position DC as like we're MCU rivals. Like
Mm-hmm.
you talk this big game, like this is what we're doing now. DC was kind of doing its own thing, and I actually liked when they were doing that. But then I got excited because you brought it up as like this big universe thing, and I just feel like they didn't want to commit to that, and that's the thing that's upsetting me. They don't want to commit to the big game, the big swings. There's no Batman, there's no Wonder Woman, there's no Justice League, there's no through line. It's just a production deal. We're making stuff
Yep.
Jimmy Gunn wants. We're making stuff Tom King wants. Characters will show up. Maybe it'll be a thing. It feels like the same bullshit that we were doing for like the past 2018 to 2023, but now you're positioning it as like a you have to watch all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like imagine going to see Birds of Prey and being like, fucking Shazam might show up in this one. It's gonna be a big deal. Like it just wasn't how it was positioned at the time. It just kind of existed as its own stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't like how that's my issue with it. So I'll refute it a little bit. Like I don't mind that we're getting all this weird stuff. Like the Jimmy Olsen show in a vacuum to me sounds cool. Like everything about
Right.
it sounds interesting. The problem is this is your cinematic universe show. This is what we're
Yeah.
prioritizing right now. Like, you know, that's my issue. Lanterns doesn't feel like its own thing. It feels like we're setting stuff up. But what are we setting it? What's the point? I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I mean,
That's my issue.
that's kind of where I'm at too. And that's more so what I meant with the whole Wonder Woman animated series thing. Is
Mm,
I don't know if, Wonder Woman was gonna be in the DCU or if it was gonna be Elseworlds or whatever.
yeah,
Right. But I feel like they're in a position right now where you can't really avoid you can't really afford too many big failures. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Bad critically and bad financially. It has to be, if you do have something that's bad, it has to be either one or the other. It's either bad critically, but it performs pretty well financially,
yeah,
or it's bad financially but still performs really well in word of mouth. You know what I mean? Because it might have really good streaming numbers for when people watch it on streaming, and that might do some wonders for you. And that also makes people excited to see the characters again. My issue, along with you, and along with what I've been seeing from most people, is the fact of what they are prioritizing with said universe,
right.
and as well as the characters they're prioritizing. Because Guy Gardner appears to be a through line between
Mm-hmm.
5 different projects for some reason. Um, I should be happy as a Green Lantern fan. It just doesn't really
Yeah,
make a lot of sense to me. Just because he didn't really, just like you, me, and Derek talked about on our Superman Revisited, those characters don't really get a lot of depth. And truth
uh-uh.
be told, I don't see Guy Gardner getting more depth in Lanterns, or more depth in Mister Miracle, or more depth in Man of Tomorrow, especially if we're introducing 4 other superheroes along with our Justice Gang
Yeah. Which,
and
by the
Superman.
way, is a news story of itself that he's going to be in that animated show, which means they're deviating a little bit from their. I mean, they added Lobo and Superman to Woman of Tomorrow, so
Yeah,
I imagine it's a very similar
they're
thing.
definitely
Again,
setting up. It feels like they're definitely trying to go the dark side route again.
yeah,
Like dark side is probably the big bad, and it's probably going to be through salvation, and it's going to be, it's probably going to be a mix of Final Crisis, Dark Side War, and
yeah.
Salvation. You know,
And again, in a vacuum, like I don't care that Guy Gardner's a Mr. Miracle. They want to
same
adjust it
here.
a little bit, but like if we're positioning it as this big news story the same day, which we'll talk about by the way in a little bit, or I'm avoiding the elephant in the room if the show's getting canceled, but that comes out the same day as, and then they're like, oh, but don't worry, the fucking Guy Gardner's going to be in the animated show. Like, it's weird press, it's weird press, and we saw that similarly we saw Brand New Day come out and it made a shit ton of money, and then like the next day we get the casting announcement of like a female lead and Jimmy Olsen, and no shade to her, Mary Holland. I think whatever she's gonna do, Lucy Lane could be cool. It's pretty tied to Jimmy Olsen. I think there's a lot of cool things, but like it's
Wait, that's what
so
she's playing.
weird,
She's
man.
she's playing Lucy Lane.
No, that's the theory and the rumor, just because that's the
Uh,
main woman you'd think of with Jimmy Olsen.
you want to know
You
what's
know
crazy?
what?
Right after they announced that casting for Jimmy Olsen, Marvel one ups them yet again and announces Samara Weaving the next day as Emma
Yeah, they did
Frost.
like Cyclops and stuff, and Emma Frost and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's not a problem that the Jimmy Olsen show exists. It's a problem that only the Jimmy Olsen show exists right now. That
Mm-hmm.
seems like the only live action show that's actively making any progress. You got a
Yeah.
Booster Gold showrunner ready to go, David Jenkins, our flag means death. Had a pilot script ready to go. Like he's like, oh, they ditched my thing. They're doing a whole different thing now. Like why? What happened
Crazy
there, man?
work, bro.
You know, Booster Gold should have been well into development. Now Paradise Lost should have been well into development. Let's get into that. The big thing that got announced is Paradise Lost, the Amazon Themysciran prequel, maybe regular timeline. I don't know. Wonder Woman project, which sounded really interesting, was announced as the initial slate, is canceled, as well as the Amanda Waller prequel show with Viola Davis that was actually announced pre DCU. This was like back in DCEU era that this was in development. So this is kind of like a Creature Commandos carryover situation. But both are gone now. What is your raw reaction to that, man? Seeing that on the timeline today.
Doesn't do them any favors. Does not
No,
do them any favors whatsoever. Because now that's half of what you originally announced gone.
because Authority's
Booster
gone.
Authority's gone. Waller's
Booster Gold is
gone.
still in development. People
Booster
get
Gold is being
confused.
reworked, I
Yeah,
guess.
Swamp Thing
Swamp
is
Thing,
missing.
and
MIA.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. It takes 3 years to make him. It takes James Gold specifically 3 years to make a movie. If he chooses to make his Star Wars movie over making Swamp Thing, it's gonna be at least another 4 to 5 years before we get 4 to 6
Yeah,
years before we get Swamp Thing.
Brave
It's
and the Bold's
basically
MIA.
canceled. It's basically canceled. Brave and the Bold's MIA. You
Sergeant
know,
Rock got canceled as well.
Sergeant Rock canceled, but at least we have Clayface and Mana tomorrow to be excited about, I guess. It's so unfortunate. And like I know that he said that they had been having issues with the Waller writing room, but he just confirmed like a month or two ago that Paradise Lost was in very active development, like
That's
very,
what I
very,
saw.
very active development. And we're
Very
like,
active canceling.
unless bro, he's lied. He's lied so many times. Like he legitimately lied on his first day in the office with the whole Ben Affleck wants to direct for us thing, and then Ben comes out like a week later and is like, "I've never talked to James Gunn a day in my life. I don't want to direct a Batman movie.
Well,
I want nothing to do
he
with this
lied the
character
first
anymore."
day in that press release when he said the Flash was a good movie that he was excited about.
When he's like, "Flash is one of my favorite one of my favorite superhero movies ever." Like, come
Ever,
on, bro. Come on,
ever,
bro.
bro.
That does nothing
Yeah,
but ruin your credibility.
yeah,
And I don't understand what and this is why, like, for me and for Jackson and for Luis, who are eventually gonna be entering into that world in a full-time capacity and dealing with some of those people eventually, like some of
yeah,
those big suits producers, whatever, that only care about revenue. I like I wonder what goes through their brain. Like, do they actually believe the words that they're saying, or are they trying to buzz up some sort of revenue? Even though you got to look at the long term, you got to
mhm,
look at what that does for you long term, and it does way worse for you
yeah.
in the long term, because now we as the audience are asking, what do you consider a good script? Is this like, are these
Right.
scripts that are passing that are amazing, like Supergirl, like The Flash, are those what you consider to be top tier superhero scripts?
Yeah.
You
I
know?
don't know. I have many different thoughts. Like again, if this was positioned as a production deal for James Gunn, these shows getting canceled, no one would really bat an eye. If it
Yeah.
was just like James Gunn's developing these things, oh, Waller got canceled. People would have their own. It's like you made a roadmap. You made like this is our whole thing. This is gods and monsters. That was your fucking big mistake. It killed you from 2023 onward. It flopped all your movies then, and now it's biting you in the ass now because you announced shit 3 years ago now that you had no active intentions of fully developing. Look, I don't think Waller was just leftovers, man, from DCEU. Waller was just a James Gunn thing that never got made. And I
Mm-hmm.
think if it had a script back then, it would have got made just like Creature Commandos. I think if Creature Commandos got announced back then without a script, Creature Commandos was like almost done by the time they announced it.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have got made either. You know, this is just
Yep.
like leftover shit. Paradise Lost, I thought was a creative vision they had, and I
Yeah.
guess not. I guess not. That's my
Paradise
my
Lost was also something that was brought over. It was a story concept that was originally set for the DCEU with like
oh, and
Connie Nielsen and
they moved it to
all
DCU.
and those guys. Like it was supposed to be like a prequel on them.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Oh
then I'm
yeah,
guessing they tried to rework it into
yeah.
this,
So then
and it
again,
just
like
didn't
I don't
work.
really mind that these things get canceled in a vacuum. It's just you're taking these things away and you're not presenting anything substantive to fill that void. Like you have a Mr. Miracle and a Jimmy Olsen show. You know, what movies do you actually have? You have Man of Tomorrow dated. That's it. I don't know what's filming after that. Nothing. There's no DCU movie filming after Man of Tomorrow right now. Dog, you
Deathstroke
know?
and Bane right now is the only movie that's actually moving.
Like, uh, MCU stuff, it wasn't even fully a thing until a couple years in line. But by the time like Iron Man, you knew Thor and Captain America were coming out, and you knew Avengers
Hmm.
was filming in 2010, and you knew more stuff, and you always felt like something was going on, like they had something cooking up.
Yep.
You know?
My issue is that there's nothing to really be excited about. And granted, I have seen some people excited for Man of Tomorrow. I think we're even excited a little bit for Man of Tomorrow, just because how can you not? Superman
Right.
was to us or to me and some
But
other people an all
it's
right
holding
movie.
all the weight right now, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it genuinely shouldn't, you know. And I've actually like I've been seeing some of the hype for Clayface die down a little bit. Not because the trailers have looked bad. It's just because no one is really moved. Like the trailers have looked really cool stylistically, but that's all that they have looked. Like nothing has
Mm,
really blown people away.
right.
And like the thing is, I watched a bunch of trailer reactions just like the next guy, and I'm sure just like some of I know Kevin Feige and Brad Winderbaum watched trailer
Mm-hmm.
reactions just to see how people feel.
Yeah.
Like the Lantern trailer didn't move people. The Supergirl trailer didn't move people. The only DCU trailer that has moved people, Superman. That's
Mm.
it.
That's all. Yeah. Every other trailer got pretty bad press
Yeah.
for the most part. I think there's a real conversation I have too. Like, not even to be, you know, rumor mill speculative, but there's a very real through point to tie into Supergirl being the biggest flop since the last female DC movie, to them actively canceling two female led projects
That's a
right
bad
after
look.
that box office kind of finalizes. And I think right now the only active female led project they have is Wonder Woman,
They which they also said that Supergirl is supposed to be a second lead to that movie.
which doesn't feel like it's even a thought right now. Look, man, that's what I feel like every time we set these women up with mediocre scripts, really cool actors, really cool, it happened with Captain Marvel, it happened with Eternals a little bit, it happens
Happened
with
with Black
this,
Widow.
happened to Black Widow, and then these executives see these box office numbers and they're like, they just don't like the women. They fucking don't. They
Well,
don't
that's
like
not it.
they don't like the women, man. And I'm like,
So
dude,
out of
no.
touch.
You
So
know,
out of touch.
when you go and look at Wonder Woman, which was a great script, that first Patty Jenkins movie, and it made fucking 700, $800 million.
Yep.
You know, because there was care put into that movie, there was passion put into that movie. You just don't see a lot of female led things, and honestly, I don't know. That's my sad point because I thought Supergirl had something to it. It just got bogged down in all the script
Yeah.
revisions and everything. I think there was concepts there that could have been really cool, and then you hired a male director to make it, and
Yeah. You
you
know what,
know,
man? I was thinking about the DCEU the other day, and I was like just thinking about how much potential that we had with that whole universe. I will never forget, bro, because I didn't see Wonder Woman opening week. I think I saw Wonder Woman. This was when I wasn't as big on
oh,
watching movies opening week.
yeah, yeah,
I funny but short story for the pod because I know we both got it in soon. Um, the reason why now I watch a movie at least on either Thursday, like the pre-opening screening or whatever they call Thursday screenings,
sure.
or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, whenever open like that entire opening weekend, I need to watch
Mm,
a movie because in 2019, I'll never forget, I did not see Endgame that first weekend.
mm,
A big L, a huge L.
Oh yeah.
because that entire weekend I am staying off of every single social media app that I own except for YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
right? And of course, you see like your new rock stars, you see your people uploading their non-spoiler reactions, and I'm watching those, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be amazing. And then, man, Monday morning comes, and dog, someone comes in, and I know this dude. He was like the class clown or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Bro comes in, and like I hear him playing around with like some girls, or like some girls are teasing him or whatever. And dog, this man is like, all right, since y'all want to tease me, or he said something along those lines. He was like, since y'all
Mm-hmm.
want to tease me, Iron Man dies. And when I tell you, bro, my heart broke. My heart broke, and I was hoping that it wasn't true, not because I didn't think that
Yeah.
would be a cool, wouldn't be a cool story idea. Because I mean, obviously that's the only way that it could go. That's
Yeah.
great, but I was like, dang, not probably the biggest moment in movie history, like one of the biggest moments in movie history,
Mm-hmm.
spoiled for me. Lo and behold, bro, I get in that theater. I'm sitting down with my mom and with my cousin, and we're watching in game, and I see Tony Stark die. I still cried like a baby. Like it didn't take away the impact whatsoever. But I was like,
Or
dang. From this point on, I will never watch a new Marvel or superhero movie
yeah.
past opening weekend. Um. So yeah, man,
This is why he
it's
watched Madam Web opening day, man. He was
okay. Fun fact: I did not actually watch those movies. Okay, I did watch Craven opening
yeah.
weekend, but that was
Um.
because me and Luis wanted to go joke it, and we
Okay.
did. It was a
Yeah.
very funny time.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, also small point, bro. Spoiler culture is so bad now. Anyway, you're not even getting shit Monday morning, getting shit day. I got shit about fucking. I don't even watch X Men. I got spoilers on who dies in the X Men finale. And
Me
like,
too. Me too. I know who
while I'm at
dies,
work,
and it
while
hasn't
I'm at
even been
work,
out.
you know. I don't know. But that's a separate point. Anyway,
Yeah.
they also said that there was Catwoman and Poison Ivy TV shows presented to HBO that they declined, which are two more female-led projects. I don't know. It's painting to me like we took the wrong lessons from Supergirl failing, and it's bumming me the fuck out. It's bumming me the
Yeah.
fuck out, man. Like I don't, to your point about like wanting to see, I want to see your Batman, Superman, Justice League, but I was excited that they took a chance on Supergirl, and I was really hoping it was going to be the hit that Superman was.
And not only did the movie fall flat,
Yeah.
but it performed terrible financially. And where I was going with the watching the movie on opening weekend thing
Mm.
was, I'll never forget, bro, watching Wonder Woman on opening weekend and seeing the No Man's Land
Oh yeah.
scene,
Incredible.
a work of art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A
man.
work of art.
But yeah, Jimmy Gunn. Look, dude. I don't care what you make, but get the passion back in there. It doesn't feel like there's passion right now. That's the problem. There's passion for Superman, Superman 2. The rest of this feels like I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. I'm still hopeful for DC. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm excited enough that we have a new TV show next week. I'm excited to finish up my adventures. I'm getting burnt a little bit by some of these news stories, and it's been a whole
I think
year of mediocre news stories.
I think all of us are, and for a while it did feel like we were kind of in a point where we could have good comic book content from both sides. Like you had Thunderbolts release, then you
The
had
Superman
Superman
release, it
release,
was
and then you
great.
have Fantastic Four release. And Fantastic Four does have a mixed reception, but I think it's mainly leaning more positive for a lot of people. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's good but not great. Um, and now it's just like Supergirl gets blown out the water by Spider Man, like blown off the universe
Mm-hmm.
by Spider Man. And it's just like you look at next year's slate as far as DCU projects
Yeah.
go. Yeah, Mr. Miracle, Jimmy Olsen, Creature Commando season 2, and Man of Tomorrow. Those are your four projects, and you're looking at those four, and you're just like, okay,
Mm.
okay,
Yeah.
just okay.
Yeah, it just feels like we're back into the Birds of Prey, Black Adam, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle era,
Uh huh.
but with the context of we're trying to frame it as like this is important, this matters to us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of me just feels like they're just kind of, biding time until the sale happens, and then it's just gonna be a whole different. Well, not necessarily that it's to Paramount, but just the sale of Warner Brothers in general.
Yeah. Also, side note, I will say I'm starting to really dislike or be annoyed by the James Gunn comic posts where he's like, 80 years ago, this character debuted. It gives, hey, look, guys, I really am a
I
DC
read
comic
comics, man.
fan. I read
Happy
comics. I
dude.
know
He
them.
posted "Happy Birthday, Amanda Waller" because it's the same as his birthday, like a
Just when
fucking
you get
week ago.
canceled.
And he don't give a
The
fuck.
irony.
He was
The
like,
irony.
I in the post, he's like, I worked with Viola Davis, can't wait to work with her again. Clearly, you can't wait to work with her again, bro. Like,
Yeah, bro.
I bet
Because
Viola
like,
Davis, dude, I bet Viola Davis did not want to do that shit.
no, no. Honestly, bro, it feels like Viola Davis is just moving on. Like I haven't heard her mention Amanda Waller whatsoever
No,
in years since 2021, and she's done I think a few movies and projects since then.
dude, she's too talented. She got shit to do. She got shit to
Yeah.
do, man. Anyway, that's our show. Thank you for watching. Next week, we're going to have a big start to our Green Lantern coverage. So please stay tuned for that. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.